Banjo-Kazooie was one of the greatest games that I ever played. However, my sister suggested for this other game. In Christmas of 2006, she got me The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. So what is the whole story? Link is a young boy living in Kokiri Forest, a forest full of children who have a fairy guardian of their own. Problem is, Link doesn't have his own fairy. That is, until the Deku Tree, the guardian of the forest, decides to send Navi, a blue fairy, to be Link's partner. She orders him to come see the Deku Tree because the Deku Tree has been cursed. So Link needs to go inside the Deku Tree to fight off the curse. However, after he does so, it is quite too late because the Deku Tree was doomed from the start. But he gives him the Kokiri Emerald, one of the 3 spiritual stones. He then goes out into Hyrule Field and goes to a castle where he meets up with Princess Zelda, who tells him all about the Triforce pieces and that he needs to collect the other 2 spiritual stones to try to protect Hyrule from the evil King Ganondorf. Link then travels to the mountains where he befriends some Gorons and fights off some Dodongos and is then given the Goron Ruby. Then he goes to Zora River, where he meets up with the Zora, the water people. Link then gets a letter from the princess of the Zora saying that she is inside Lord Jabu Jabu, the guardian of the Zora. After Link shows King Zora the letter, he allows him to go see Lord Jabu Jabu. He offers him a fish, but then Link gets sucked into Lord Jabu Jabu's body, where he meets up with Ruto, the princess of the Zora. They travel inside the fish's body, or more like a whale, because his tail moves up and down, not side to side, where they find the last spiritual stone, the Zora Sapphire. However, once they do find it, Ruto gets captured by a big Octorok. Link fights it, then makes his way to a room where a monster called Baronade waits. Link defeats it, and then Ruto is free. They teleport outside, and she gives him the spiritual stone of water, but also engages him to get married to her. After this, Link returns to Hyrule Castle, where Zelda and Impa are running from Ganondorf. Ganondorf meets with Link for the very first time. He asks where they had gone, but Link refuses to answer. Fortunately, Zelda left Link the Ocarina of Time, an instrument that will open up the door of time. So Link opens up the door, but it's quite too late as Ganondorf has now made his way into the sacred realm. Link wakes up 7 years later in the Chamber of the Sages, where he meets Rauru, one of the 6 sages, and he has discovered that he has grown up. Rauru tells Link that he needs to awaken 5 sages that are all throughout Hyrule, and also being aided by the last of the Sheikah called Sheik. So Link goes through 5 different temples. He goes to the Forest Temple, he goes to the Fire Temple, the Water Temple, the Shadow Temple, and the Spirit Temple. However, there is also a bit of a catch. You see, after Link defeats the first temple, he is told that he must travel even through time to save Hyrule. And by doing this, he can put the Master Sword into the pedestal of time and return to his childhood, allowing him to get some things that he couldn't get before because he needed to learn a certain song in order to make his way to a mini-dungeon. Alright, so how do all these gameplays work through this game? Well, it is quite interesting how Navi flies towards objects and enemies, and she tells you about them. Though some fans may be annoyed by her, "Hey, listen!" but she's okay. She does annoy me sometimes, but not as well as other fans would be annoyed by her. Though what is quite interesting are the choices of the 6 sages that Link awakens. Rauru, first off, was an ancient sage, and all the 5 other sages that Link rescues are somebody he knows, which is quite an amazement. Link also can get help from Epona, a horse that will come to him when he plays a song. The song is called Epona's Song, and you can ride her all throughout Hyrule once you have freed her from Ingo's ranch. And there are also some great items that you can find throughout this game, such as the slingshot, bombs, the Deku nuts, Deku sticks, and many other great things in the game. It certainly was a great experience to go through this whole new game. Though a funny thing is, my sister said that it would take years to complete this game. Apparently she must have meant years within the game, not years in real life. So, how should I put this game? Well, it's pretty good. Though, frankly, I think I would actually prefer Banjo-Kazooie a lot more, but the game is okay. It was the very first Legend of Zelda game that I've ever played, and it has gotten me into the franchise. So, all in all, I certainly like the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. It is a very great game, but when I found out that there was another game called Majora's Mask, I was very excited. But we'll get to that a bit later. So anyway, I would recommend that if you want to play this game, go and do it.